Nathan, first question's a simple one. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. It's been tough few months, really has. Fine, get on with your work. It's all you can do. You believe you can make a change. Till that becomes impossible, then you keep doing your job. I mean, keep saying results haven't matched performances, but I can't keep saying that forever.
Your job is to keep the players up, keep the spirits up. Who keeps your spirits up?
My dog. No, look, I'm an upbeat character anyway. I'm enthusiastic. I've had a career that I was limited ability, but I did it on enthusiasm and passion and work rate, and that's what I do now. I joined in training with them yesterday and tried to lift them with a few things, and that's what we do. That's what the job of a manager is. It's been tough on the players because not everyone has made errors, not everyone's in bad form, for example, so it's been tough. They get knocked as well. No matter what they do, they get knocked, and that affects them, so they need lifting as well. They need something to change, and hopefully we've got an opportunity tomorrow.
Have you been able to lift the players? What do you sense of the mood around the place?
No, look, the mood's never been bad or anything. And look, fair play to them, because they work hard. They're a decent group. It's just things happen in games, that rock them and hit them, and they've been hit and they've gone through the mire, to be fair, because they've probably been in worse teams and got far more wins. So look, I sense a real desire to do well. Fair play to them. I was close to a few of them, in terms of conversations and so on. We have a leadership group there, so there's no issues or anything. It's just we need something to turn.
This game is a big old game, isn't it? Bottom two in the Championship. How big is it?
Look, it's as big as anyone wants to make it, but for us, we're 9 games in. We haven't got a win. Same with Huddersfield. We both would like to get off the mark, so it's big in lots of reasons. It's not a season definer because it's only 10 games in, but it's it can kickstart, it can give someone a lift, or it can really put you into a bad place.
Because of the tension around this place, and that's communicating from the crowd sometimes as well. Is it?
I don't think it's communicated from the crowd, if I'm honest.
So it's an advantage being at home, you think?
I think the crowd have been excellent. I really do. I can't fault the crowd. I mean, I know that at previous times throughout managers' reigns who had more wins than me, the crowd have shown their displeasure. I'm not sure the crowd have shown their displeasure here, and to be fair to them, I can't criticise that. And it's not been nothing to do with an edginess in the crowd.
After the cup exit to Crawley, you questioned the players' commitment and desire. I bet you can't question that after the game against Forest, though, can you?
I questioned the first 45 minutes of a group of their desire, of their performance. I questioned their performance, not their day-to-day desire. So we can't read too much into that. What I did was, and I'm always honest and I'm always upfront and I always try to speak the right things. But for 45 minutes we were poor, and that was as poor a performance as I've seen from a group of players. But I didn't question their desire. Second half they came out, and for 10. Look, Crawley didn't beat us for 10 men. They won on penalties, and for all the numerical advantage, and they worked so hard second half, and the sending off came at the time when we were actually controlling the game, so it's just a circumstance again. So at no point have I questioned their desire, really. It's just a 45-minute performance I questioned their real levels to go out and to win a game then.
I guess the reason I brought it up though was because there didn't seem any lack of desire or commitment against Forest. It was individual errors again that cost you, and what do you do about that, Nathan? How can you legislate for individual errors?
It's tough, it's difficult, because you stand there after game plan and working with the players and so on, and they listen, they want to take on board things that we want to do. I've got no questions or anything like that. This is a great club. It's just it has cost us the individual. At no point have they, and I think that's why the crowd are with us, because they see a desire, they see a work rate, they see that we attack, 2, we work hard. It's just that there has been certain things that have gone wrong. Now I have to, take the blame for that, because I pick the players that make errors. I pick the team, so maybe I should have picked different players. So look, I have to take full responsibility for that. But it's difficult, because you can't legislate for it and you can't foresee it, because these things come out of the blue, and they have.
And you can't train it. You can't train in advance to prepare for that sort of mistake, can you?
Well, you don't know what's coming, so that's the thing. If it's a hurricane coming or anything, you can batten down the hatches, but you know it's coming. If something just hits you out of the bolt of the blue, there's no airbag for for those kind of things, But look, we have to be better. It's not just been errors, because if we've made errors in games, but if we then do jobs well, then we stay in games, and then we can always get a goal back. It's just when we have made errors, it's usually come in twos, and then we've gone 2 behind, as you saw at Preston, as you saw at QPR, when we've made one error, but then we concede a poor goal, and then we're chasing it, and we should get something from the game. On last Friday, we make just give 2 poor goals away just after half time, but you see, second half we keep coming. If we get a goal earlier, but we're having to chase a game from 3-1 down, and that's what we can't do.
Difficult questions now. If results don't improve, I know it's not been easy up to this point, but look, if results don't improve, how many more games do you think you've got in charge?
Oh, look, if results don't improve, I fully expect a decision to be made on my future. I fully expect it, and I have no argument about it. Absolutely not. If I'm honest, if this wasn't such a club that it was, and it had the owners it was, I would have been gone a while ago, because my results haven't been good enough, and I know that, and I'm under no illusions. Just as I knew in my previous job, I was not untouchable, but I was in a very secure position because my win rate was 55%, and we'd been promoted, and we'd changed everything about it. We've changed a lot here, but we haven't got results, and that's the be-all and end-all. So trust me, I fully expect, if I don't get results in the next few games, that a decision will be made on my future.
You're a proud, principled man. Would you ever walk away from this job?
I don't want to walk away from it, because I don't feel this will turn, now whether it's with me or with someone else, because there's a group there that are talented, that can do something. If errors are stopped, and you just have a normal game for once, we will win a normal game, and we'll win more normal games than we lose them. It's just when extraordinary circumstances happen, that's when it's out of our control. So no, I don't want to do that. I have regular conversations with the owners, and if they turn around and say to me, look, it's not working, then look, not a problem, because ultimately they have given me patience, they've given me backing, they know what I've done around the place, but it's a results business.
Can I ask you specifically about Jack Butland, who you've rested in recent games before when he's made a couple of mistakes, and for his own good, I think you said at the time. Does he keep his place now?
Look, I'm not going to give you my team or anything now, but in all honesty, look, we rested Jack because he was making errors, so that you call it drop-in, but it was taking him out of the firing line because, look, he was making errors. He's come back and been very good in the games prior to Friday, but it's systematic with us as well. When someone makes an error, at the minute there's no one there to cover them, sort of thing. So every time, our chances conceded to the goals that people convert against us is on another planet. It doesn't happen to any other team. It's crazy. But when someone makes an error, we have to have someone there then to try and bail them out, and that's what we haven't had also. Yes, we don't want them to make an error, but we want there to be something there that bails them out and spots danger and sees there could be a problem here, and that's what we're not doing either as well. So it's not just the errors. We're conceding bad goals, and that has to stop.
Is this a must-win game for you and for Stoke?
Look, when you're Stoke manager, they pretty much all must win. But look, if we don't win the game, it'd be very difficult, even more difficult situation. So look, we set up to win games. I mean, to be honest with you, probably the only game we've set up to contain was Leeds. Apart from that, we set up to win a game. However they pan out, whether they pans out that we get penned in for a spell of time, we're ready for that because we're tactically very good at preparing. We've not been found wanting tactically in any way. So we will go out to win the game tomorrow. We will pick a team to try and win the game. And winning it, we have to, 1, defend well, 2, so that we haven't got to score 4 to win a game, but also we'd like to be attacking.
Last one from me. What about Huddersfield? They've got a new manager, but are you surprised to see them down there?
Nothing surprises me anymore. Logic goes out the window at times, but I think they're on a similar kind of spiral thing. They've come down from the Premier League, haven't won in a long time, longer than us actually. So it's just difficult to arrest that at times, and that's the biggest thing, is to arrest something and then before you have an upward spiral. Yeah, it kind of does, because it's a good club. I know the club very, very well. I've known it for a little while, since Stuart Webber was there, and when David Wagner was there and Dean Hoyle in charge. I know it very well from then. It's a certain fall from grace, but it's similar to what Stoke are going through, and hopefully we can come out on top of tomorrow on what is a difficult fixture for both.
Good luck, mate.
Nathan, the first 35 minutes or so against Notts Forest were probably the best that I've seen Stoke play this season, and possibly for a couple of years. Certainly, all the pundits seem to think it was the best performance of anybody who played Nottingham this season. So you can probably get some hope from thinking a little tweak here, a little tweak there, things might change. But we need a bit of an edge when we go behind, because, in my opinion, you said you were bringing leaders to the club, and there doesn't seem to be, when there's a problem, as you mentioned after the Queen's Park Rangers game, it's like somebody piercing a balloon, everything goes. And in the match on Friday, I didn't see, maybe you did, people running around and going, come on, let's get into this. Are you a bit worried about the leadership of the team?
I'm worried about the predicament we're in terms of, because there are leaders here that in other teams have been leaders, have been good leaders. It's just at the minute when everything's compounded and everything gets sort of piled on them, then it's difficult, because a lot of our leaders are preoccupied with their own performance and not playing well themselves, so then they find it difficult to lead other people, you know. So the thing that we've debriefed today and spoken about is, if we do have a setback, which invariably happens in life, in football, in sport, that we handle it better, and that's what we haven't done. As I said, if we've usually made an error or gone beyond, it hasn't been long before we've made another one. At times we look a wonderful side. As you said, for 35 minutes we were excellent. But how many times have we said that this season? How many times have we said that against Derby, against Charlton, you know, and then all that, Bristol City, and then something happens to not quite derail us, but gives us a bump off track. Now what we have to do is find a way to not get derailed, but just to get back on the saddle again, and to make sane decisions over a good period of time, and then we can win a game. Because, you know, statistically, as I said, I keep repeating myself in terms of that, but on the weekend, or last Friday, I mean, we had nearly 60% of possession. We had 35 crosses, 24 shots. This is top of the table stats. It's just we're bottom.
And the bottom, because the biggest stat that, as we know, is that they're scoring more than us. But if you look at, obviously, the Cowley brothers, who you know would have been here and watched the game, the first thing that probably most teams will do when they come and play us this season is get a cross into the box, because that's where we appear to be weakest, and I'm sure you're working on that. But you've got to, the players have got to expect that one might go in. And my concern, and I think lots of people who support Stoke's concern, is that we seem to have no fight when that happens. Now, you've said you brought leaders, but most of these leaders have probably played in a successful team in the first division, or just a successful team. It's easy to be a leader. It's more easy to be a leader when you're successful. So presumably you've got to be looking now and looking at some of the senior players and saying, get a grip of this.
Look, first and foremost, I mean, when you say it's easier to be a leader in a successful team, maybe you're a good leader and that's why we become successful. You know, so it's not just are they getting shown up now because they're not really leaders, they were just leaders in a good environment. But look, I don't think that's the case. I think at the minute we haven't got enough that are just doing the jobs. And as I said, we put in more crosses, more dangerous crosses from different angles, with far more, I think 3 times more than most teams do, and others defend that better. That's just been symptomatic lately, and people haven't learnt from their errors, really. Now, until we do that, it doesn't matter how many leaders you got, in terms of, you have to do your own job, and that's all I ask. If they all do their own individual jobs, I do mine, and we come through a sticky, then that's all you ask, because it's not just about leaders, it's about just doing your job. And if we can do that, then fine, because it's not just one error. There are some that are one errors, but as I said, there's a few and are compounded, and I just want people just to make normal decisions, and I would like a normal game, because I really do think we'll win more normal games than lose.
Like a really scruffy 1-0.
It'd be great having a scruffy 1-0. It'd be good having any kind of 1-0. But what would be just brilliant is just to have a normal game where there's no sending offs, we're not talking about a big major error, where we're just talking about a team that had gone out there, that had defended well, that have worked hard, that have scored one more than the opposition, and where we deserved a victory. And that's all you ask, and that's all I ask.
In terms of injuries after the game on Friday, obviously Badu and Dye went off. Is he liable to be fit?
Look, it'd be a late one with Badu. He has a real desire. You know, I mean, look, to be fair, he probably shouldn't have come out because they scored immediately after half time. Probably shouldn't have come out at half time, but he's so desirous to come out and to play, because he is, you know, he's a great character. He is a leader in his own right in how he goes about things. So he wanted to come out, and he'll try everything to play. Whether he makes it or not, we'll have to wait until tomorrow.
And the last one from me, people are forensically examining everything you say in newspaper articles, or what you reported to have said in newspaper articles, and people have seen that you've talked about players you would like to build your squad around, or your team around, and everybody is saying no mention of Badu and Dye and Peter Etterbo. I'm sure that's just a mistake of not shouting out those names.
But it'll just be wrong of me to mention who I want to build my team around. Look, we've had 1.5 windows in terms of who you want to bring in and so on and so forth. To build your own squad takes probably 3 to 4 windows, but within that time you have to get results to make sure that you're moving in the right direction. We have a good group there that, yes, we need other little things. You know, we did try, and the board, if I played to the board in the summer, we did try to get certain ones that we weren't able to, but that was just to add quality to the squad. Now, there's a lot in there that I'd like to build around. It's not just Peter Etterbo and Badu and Dye. We've got a lot there that, if they're all playing well, they can turn into a wonderful championship team. So it'd be wrong of me, so whether I'm saying it or doing it, but look, I try not to give too much away. I try to be as honest and open as possible without putting pressure, blame, spotlight on any other human being. I'd rather take it myself and let players get on with playing football, because right now that's probably what they need.
I know I said it was the last one, but just building on what you said, given that financial fair play is now kicking in with this football club, and another manager spent 60 million in 6 months, did that affect the pot of money you had, or the quality of play you could go for in the transfer window? Was the amount of money you had to spend balanced out by what had been spent before? Well,
of course that happens, but coming down from the Premier League affects that as well, and so on. But if I'm honest, I normally, and my sort of blueprint, I don't need to spend a hell of a lot of money. What I like is hunger and a desire and an open-mindedness to work and to buy into the work that we do, to give everything, to want to improve. I actually prefer that type of player. So I didn't really want a load of money. We tried to get a top goal scorer, but we weren't able to. And trust me, the Coates family did absolutely everything on the planet to try and do that, because we wanted to add another striker. And then there were 1 or 2 other positions that we didn't quite get what we were looking for. But it wasn't the mass that we needed, because, as you said, previous manager had spent 60 million. So we either were going to get rid of those ones, or if you add another 60 million to those, you've got big problems then, because you've got everyone expects to play, and when people don't play, they wonder what they're doing here. And that can be a problem, really. I like to work with a tight group. It's not as tight as I would like due to circumstances we've spoken before, but no, look, I wasn't massively hindered, because the be-all and end-all is, if we could have got the players we would have, I honestly believe that they would have gone into danger zone for this club, because they love it and they're great owners, and I can't thank, well, I must thank them, but I cannot say how good they are enough, because they have been with me, with Patience too, with backing for every manager they've had.
Thank you, good luck.
No, thank you.
Fans are trying to make sense of what's happening today, not just over the last few weeks, but over the last 18 months, 2 years. They accept that they've had good players and they've got a good set of players now. But one thing is for sure, if you listen back to the press conferences from your predecessors and yourself, the phrase training went well. Training is going really well. The players are positive, you know, and then the disappointment on your face at the end, saying effectively, well, we couldn't predict that in training. What's happening between the training ground and here?
But that's something that we can't we only know so much of what people do away from the thing. But look, it's difficult for me to come and speak to you and outlay all the problems we've had in terms of that, because look, that's not what these press conferences are for. It's not the time to do that. There's been certain issues with the club, but it's been more of a mentality in terms of they've been on a downward spiral. I think the people know that, and so on and so forth. When I came in, the issues we had centred around a massive squad that had got relegated, that wasn't as motivated as it probably should have been, which was alien to me, because if I never worked hard and came in every day with enthusiasm and work rate, I wouldn't have had a career. I would have been a PE teacher or something different, because I had to do that. So there's a lot of things that were alien to how I see the game, but we've gone through that. Now, whether there's still because there's a group now that want to be here, that want to work hard. Yeah, one or two individuals get down and frustrated because of, obviously, they believe they should play, but that happens in every club, every walk of life, you know. But there's maybe just still some mentality lingering around that reacts poorly to adversity. Now, I'm not one of those people myself, because I'm a positive person. I'm from a mining community, so I'm actually a championship manager. None of my mates and people can believe where I am. So I come from a naturally positive environment, but look, there's certain things that haven't gone well at the club, but we have to try and arrest that. And look, I've been given enough time. I believed I would have done a far better job up till now. I believed that last year I knew that we were in a tough place and it was difficult, but I believed with a good window and a pre-season behind them, and the negativity of what I came into would be different, but there's still remnants of that.
So you're saying there's effectively a malaise hanging over the club?
Oh, I don't know. I can't say that. If I knew that, then we'd do something about it. I don't know. I mean, I said, look, the preparations we do, I believe are good. In spells, in games, we're excellent. We're a good side. We're better than a lot of championship sides, because I watch a lot of championship football. It's just how we react to adversity and certain things. And people said systems or changes or whatever. It's not, because personnel will win you games and so on. And whether it's a mentality or whatever, I don't know. We are trying to find out. We are trying certain things, not massive things, but we are trying certain things to make sure that we can get that win, because I do feel that if we do just break the duck, then I think a few will follow.
With the players, I mean, going back a few years, we had Imbulo was our most expensive player and sort of thing. 6 games, brilliant. Just went seriously downhill. Last season, Ryan Wood joined Edward's breath of fresh air, we thought, seriously downhill. And I don't know what you think about your signings. I don't want to comment too closely on those, but have they been affected by the same sort of malaise?
Well, you have to ask them, but look, they might do. I mean, a lot of my signings were in just to strengthen the squad. I didn't really, without being disrespectful to anyone, sign any marquee players. They were the year before. All our marquee players, you know, with the money they spent on Bennick, on Tom Ince and people like that, Sam Clucas and things. But the ones I brought in were to add hunger to the group, and to bolster it and to make it a real down-to-earth group, and they have done that. But look, we're in a tough place, so I think everyone's need to stand up and be counted. And it's not for lack of work, it's not for lack of desire to do well. It's not. It's just at the minute things are going against us, and only we can change that, because it's not all bad luck. It's not all bad luck. We're not defending well enough as a team. When we do defend well enough, we can't nick a goal. And then when we same last year, you know, when we did keep a clean sheet, we kept 8 clean sheets on the spin and won only 2 games. So we need to nick a goal. This year we've scored pretty much 99% of our games. So those things have all got to marry up, and yep, they do take time to get the complete all-round package, but I did expect them to happen far quicker than it has.
Thanks, folks.
Good luck, Nathan.
Cheers, Bob.
Thanks, mate.